Nyakoma.
It's the
Montsho Nwasha Edu.
Akoma King and Akoma Queen of the art and science of Black love culture.
And the creators of Akoma Day, the co-authors of Akoma Day, Guidebook into the Sacred Science of Soulmating and Cultural Alternative to Valentine's Day.
You Are What You Cheat, a guidebook into understanding and overcoming infidelity.
And the facilitators, the guides of Black Love School, which is the online portal of a community of people from around the world who care about Black love and want to be in Black love and are looking to improve their skill set. So this is actually what we're talking about today. We've been talking about this all week.
All year.
All year. But just personally, we've been talking about this with our clients that we all need relationship skills. We actually need relationship skills, not just the desire for a relationship. And Montsho said something that was, to me, very profound and very poetic and very simple, but so meaningful, that we often don't know the skills that we need in a relationship. We don't have the skills that we need when we're in a relationship, or let me say this the right way. We don't know the skills that we need when we get into a relationship until we need those skills within the relationship and we don't have them.
Yeah, so we don't know the skills that we need to be successful in relationship until we actually get in the relationship and we're
don't
failing.
have the skills.
Yeah,
Like,
and we don't have them.
And I think that that's a really interesting point. Just me being in a relationship for the last 20 years and working with people who are in relationship or want relationship or even who are ending relationships. I think when we get perspective, we realize that there's some skill that we don't know. But even in the uptick of going to counseling and the uptick of, I think, talking about relationships a lot in the diaspora, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a book that comes out, whether it's a influencer, celebrity, personality, where I think we're talking about relationships a lot. And I think we always have, but I think that now in this time with social media and just easy access to each other, we're able to have the conversation proliferate in a way that maybe it was more closed decades ago. You just talked about relationships with your friends. But I think that what's really interesting is in this desire to heal ourselves, we are going to counseling more often. We're also talking about counseling much more often in the Black community than I think ever before.
Yes.
But the challenge with that is that counseling often is about looking at the past and understanding decisions. And I think one of the most popular kinds of counseling in the United States is about your thinking. It starts with the cognition. So your cognitive behavioral kind of counseling. And I think that has a great place. We definitely need healing. That's one of the pillars of the Akoma House Initiative is, psychological reparation. So repairing our psyche, because we've been through a lot with colonization, oppression, enslavement. All the stress of that is absolutely going to affect our relationship with ourselves and then our relationship with each other. But I think the thing that doesn't necessarily come from just talking about childhood traumas, talking about present day traumas, talking about shared traumas, what doesn't come from that is actually skill building. And this is why the second pillar of the Akoma House Initiative is relationship education. Because it's so important for us to understand that that's what we actually need is a skill set. And even I think we need to realize that there is an actual skill set for relationships to be more harmonious, to work and be definitely more fulfilling. There is a skill set. And by default, even if we have had parents who have had great marriages and been successful, so what I'm saying by successful is happily married for decades of our life, and we could see that and attempt to model it. We often don't get direct education from our parents that would develop our own skills. So even if we're one of the few in the diaspora who are blessed to say, my parents have been married for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they're happy, and I've always seen them to be happy, and they seem to resolve challenges, and they seem to be aligned in their goals. What we often don't get is the direct instruction, so the education that would have us able to replicate any of their successes. And I think that this is something that's extremely important because we have to recognize that there are skills that we need, the same way we recognize it in work or the same way we recognize it in health and wellness, that there's actually something that we could do, that we could learn, that we could then embody, that we could practice and get better and better and better. And this is why we have those two pillars, and why we have, cultural initiation as the third pillar, because that is the embodiment. That's you're learning something, but you're making it your own. So
yeah, so we have these three pillars, but then we have the 7 core skills. And I'm not going over them now, but I will say that if you're going to be successful in relationships, you need skills. In fact, a national statistic shows that 45% of divorced people report that after divorce, they realize, although they had the love to start a relationship or generate a relationship or interest and excitement, they didn't have the skills to operate the relationship, and thus they destroyed. So if you take the letters GOD, or generator, operator, destroyer, you can see how we all can be a god of our own destiny, right? We're either going to generate, operate, and or destroy something. The thing we could destroy could be negative, or we could destroy that thing that is positive. And that's usually most times what we don't want to destroy. But it happens because although we got good intention, we don't have the skill. And my great grandmother would say often, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Because you mean well. I mean, look, everybody who comes together means well. They want to stay together. They actually love each other. To make a commitment is a magnanimous endeavor, and nobody does it thinking this is just something that I'm going to throw my life away with. However, 8 out of 10 of us find ourselves in the middle of a relationship and realize with a panic where they begin to act out very strangely, or they implode and depressively present that they're saddened that they can't function the way they envisioned themselves if they found, quote unquote, the right person. So this is not even about picking the right person or any of those things. There is an art and science to mate selection and vetting and conscious courting that we teach, but outside of that, you can pick the right person and still have a horrible relationship, because selecting the proper mate is one skill, but then operating the relationship, it requires 6 other skills that you got to have that we don't have right now. They're not passing it out from the PhD to the kindergarten level because we're operating outside of our cultural paradigm. So, making it plain, look, you got to get skills if you're going to make a relationship work. And a part of our service to the world and our service to you willfully is that we can help you where you may not be as strong as you want to be with certain skills. We'll teach you the 7 core skills that you absolutely must have in order to have a successful relationship. They like the minimum basic skills, but they will yield maximum results. If you got these 7 skills that we'll teach you, you really don't need much more for the rest of your life to be effective in relationships. So, gotta get them skills, baby. Got to get them skills.
And I think that should be comforting, that there is something that you can learn and something
absolutely.
You can practice that can change your level of fulfillment. So I know sometimes people say relationship is work, and in this area, we shy away from work, like I think anywhere else we're like, yeah, I'm going to work, I'm going to grind, I'm going to do something. But then when it comes to relationship, we're like, yeah, I want to take it easy. I
don't want to work.
I don't want to work.
I want to make a choice that makes me never work again.
And I want to make a choice one time that makes me happy forever. And I think that it's that's a little
delusional.
It makes counseling, or it makes relationship skill building seem like a daunting task. But I think if we can think about that in a different way and position ourselves to say, if this was something else that I really wanted to do and I could learn something that could almost like guarantee that I could be better fulfilled, I think this is the biggest area of our lives, and the area that we're really doing most other things for. Like we want a long life to enjoy our family and community. We want freedom and access and wealth to give to our family and community. So I think all roads come back to the relationship, and the higher your level of fulfillment in the relationship, the higher quality of life that you have. And there are things that you can learn and practice that destroy the effects of the trauma. You know, the future of the trauma doesn't have to be what it was in the past. You know, the future of not knowing, right? You can cancel that out, where you can have a better relationship within the relationship that you have right now, or you can make the changes that magnetizes a whole different level of relationship to you in the future. But it really starts with your level of skill. Like success in most other areas of our life is going to be your level of skill. So relationship is not a place where there's so-called like dumb luck. You can
Right.
definitely have that energy of newness and in the
It's
beginning.
dumb people,
But
no.
what we really have to just be able to say is we're coming to the understanding and the awareness of what was lost by oppression and what was lost by enslavement, what was lost through colonization, that we've lost the best practices and the skill building that would come with a rite of passage, or any kind of culture intact that tells you how to deal with the next phase of your life. We've lost that in a lot of the diaspora. And so if we want this level of fulfillment, we have to be really intentional about going to reclaim the best practices. And that's what falls under relationship education, and that's what falls under cultural initiation. And this is a cycle, because I believe that those things can heal you. So I believe those things lead back to psychological reparation, is really knowing who you are, getting the confidence that comes from skill building. It heals you in a lot of areas of time travel, of
Absolutely.
what your past has to mean, what it meant for your parents, what past relationships even mean. We're able to really elevate and process properly, not just for the pain, but also for the gifts and the rewards that can come to us when we have a deeper, a more profound, and a better rooted understanding.
It's real love. It's shout out to Mary J. Blige. It's real love. It's relationship education that ameliorates love. Look that
That's
word
that.
up. Ameliorate. So that's what we're
poetic.
offering. REAL, love, real. So check it out. Get with us. Let us help you, please, because if 7 out of 10 of us are unmated, it's not because we don't want to be. It's not because we've never been in a relationship. It's because we don't have the skills to find, keep, or grow the relationship of our wildest dreams. And that's our mission. That's what we're here for. We can help you to execute that. So get with us, and until we see you and serve you well, we greet you in peace and say,
Miyakoma.